Vroom vroom.
Vroom vroom. What's up guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. We are going to do a full comparison, Hypervolt taking on the O'Yeet NEX, which is claiming to be better than the Hypervolt. Brand new in the game, we're gonna put it to the test on practicality, performance, and price for you. Let's do it. Let's dive in.
So there's really three things that I look for within a massage gun. It is the pounds of pressure that are being put in your muscles, the percussion, so how fast that arm is hitting, and really the strength of the actual motor. So if you're applying pressure into your muscle with the gun, does that motor slow down or is it able to keep that percussion and that same cadence of beats? The Hypervolt by far wins out in two of the three categories, maybe all three, but definitely with the pounds of pressure, they're hitting at 60 pounds of pressure per percussion, and the O'Yeet NEX is at 40, and you can really feel this right off the bat. So just to give you guys a little background, we did blind tests for both of these guns on the back, on the legs, and on the arms. Yep. In terms of pressure and punchiness, this won out every time.
Almost every time.
Except for that one edge case.
Yes, there was one time that I did pick the O'Yeet NEX.
All right, part two. I think the O'Yeet NEX does win out here. We're talking about vibration. As you scale up the speeds, they both have speeds 1 to 3. The O'Yeet NEX on level 3 is really just a vibration machine. It's really getting into those muscles. You can kind of feel the vibration travel across your back, travel kind of through your legs.
Yeah.
I like that feeling. It's much more of a relaxing feeling than it is like a therapeutic and recovery type feeling, if that makes sense. So for me, again, like I'm heavily focused on the pounds of pressure because that feels like you're getting dug into. That feels like you're loosening all that hard tissue and those knots in your muscle. But it is a little more strenuous, like on your muscles. You kind of stiffen up a little bit sometimes if you're really tight. This is definitely more relaxing feeling, winding down at the end of the day. Feels great. Vibration wins out here. We talk about the third part, the motors. I think they actually both do a really great job though. Yeah,
I think like we're gonna keep it brief on the motor. I know like this is important and we're gonna again put up the side by side. To me, we did quite a few tests with this. Motor wise, obviously this is smaller, so the chances of it overheating over time are higher. Whereas this is a lot larger of an item. It's not gonna overheat as much. This one you feel like it's working more because obviously it's a smaller item. So we did notice after about like a 10-minute session, this would get a little warm and this one didn't. Honestly, it totally makes sense to me that that happens. And I think that the O'Yeet NEX people covered you with that by saying they're gonna give you a 2-year warranty on this, where this only has a 1-year warranty. So I think they covered that in terms of like my concern.
Yeah, I think actually from a build quality perspective too, this is made of plastic. Yeah. It surrounds part of the motor and the extension arm here that's connected to the motor.
So that might be you wouldn't know.
Yeah, so there's a reason you can feel the heat here more because obviously metal's more conductive than plastic. And I actually like the build quality of this, both overall and just from a motor perspective in general. This metal casing really protects the arm and the motor. This plastic feels like it might break over time from a durability perspective.
This is like very like cheap feeling, whereas this is a lot harder of a, I don't even know, is it plastic? I think.
Yeah, this is a hard plastic, but this is all metal right here. It feels really solid. It's balanced in your hand. I don't know if you really care about it that much. You know, it's not a hockey stick or anything, but it definitely feels nice in the hand. This is kind of overweighted. It kind of falls on you in the front. The build quality,
you can't get your hands around it as easy. Like if you're a big guy, obviously it might be easier, but for me, like I'm like not even.
It's effort to hold this.
I don't know, like this. I feel like I could drop it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's really quick talk about the attachments because I think this was a big thing that I noticed when we were doing these blind tests. If you look at, let's do it up close.
Ooh.
Up close. If you can see that, this one is a lot more like textured and a lot more like spongy, whereas this one's a lot more smooth. It's a lot more like just plastic. There's no, I don't even know what the word is, like texture.
Yeah, it feels like a rubber racket ball
Yeah.
or maybe like a lacrosse ball if you're familiar, you know, like it's a lacrosse
This
ball.
feels like a
smooth surface.
styrofoam ball.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think, so when we were doing this, is when we were gliding over your back, this would run really, really smooth, whereas the Hypervolt gets stuck on everything. So
Yeah,
you're
it
going
pulls
like
your clothes.
So it was like I was getting stuck when I was trying to massage him, which was very irritating.
Yeah, shirt on, it's pulling your clothes.
Yeah.
Shirt off, you're getting some nice exfoliation going on. So.
I think the other part of this is, I think the biggest thing, the price. So we're talking almost double the price for a Hypervolt. If you asked me if I would pay double the price for the Hypervolt, I would tell you no. I would stick with this, and I'm going to tell you why, and I think this is important because there are different consumers that have different wants and needs. For me, I'm a lazy person. I just am. Like, I totally am. If I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work out, I'll work out, and if I'm like doing a cool down session, I'll use the foam rollers there. If I'm going to come home, the chances of me using my foam roller when I get home are like 1%. I just don't. I'm all about convenience. The fact that I can literally put this in here, we just took this on a 3-week vacation because I could, and it's so small that I used it every single night because I could just easily bring it with me, pack it up. It's so small. This, I'm not bringing this on a suitcase trip for a weekend. I might like use this at home, and I could see this as if you're like an ultra marathoner or you're training for a competition, or you're like a very serious trainer that wants and needs the extra percussion that goes with this one, which I think is like, this is the highlight of their product. This is the machine for you.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, just from my perspective, it's coming, as we both travel, you know, for work, this is never getting packed in my bag.
That's the last
Literally
thing I
never.
would bring.
No matter how great it is, right?
Yeah.
This, no problem. This takes up no space.
Yeah.
The form factor is incredible. The build quality solid. It's not going to break. I don't even need the case. I can just literally throw it on the top of my bag, duffel bag, whatever. Throw that thing around. I know this isn't going to break. Like, again, I love the build quality of this, and the form factor is incredible. Practicality wins out here with the NEX, for sure.
Yeah.
On top of that, you know, some of you may know I play hockey. A lot of my buddies are starting to bring these massage guns to games and using it to warm up before they put their pads on and would get on the ice. They bring this. Not necessarily the Hypervolt, but like a knockoff that's this big or even bigger, and it's as big as one of their skates in their bag. You do not need to add any more weight to any of those bags. This is coming every time, no problem in the bag. Yeah.
The last thing I think we should note before we wrap this up is the noise level. So these guys totally pride themselves on being quiet, but when you compare it to the Hypervolt is quieter. So if you want to turn their Hypervolt on, let's do level 1 on each one.
And just as an anecdote though, when we did turn this on, I thought it was incredibly
So quiet.
Like, I thought the
especially,
NEX,
like,
I was
other
like,
people
wow,
didn't
for
manage it.
this size, for this amount of power, this is so quiet, right? But then when we did a side by side, this clearly won out. But this is by no means loud.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like
our baby can sleep in the same room while we're using this, and she doesn't wake up. So.
All right, here you go.
All right, here
level
we go.
1.
Oh, I turned it off.
So quiet.
Okay, let's go up to the top level. Starts to get loud at the top level.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Base level. And then top level.
What I like about the NEX as well is that the base level and the top level don't vary from sound as much.
It's just
There's
like,
a smaller delta between level 1 and level 3. There's a huge gap between level 1 and level 3 in terms of the noise. So something to think about.
So overall, as a consumer, because I'm all about convenience, that's like the biggest thing. If you can tell me it's convenient and it's cheaper, the O'Yeet NEX would be the machine that I use on the day-to-day. Again, if I was very seriously training for something extreme, I might invest in this, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, how I break it down is if you have infinite money and money's not an option and you're not traveling, buy the Hypervolt.
Okay.
If you have an active lifestyle, you're on the go, and you look for value, buy the NEX.
Yeah.
There's the delta between the two is fairly small. This does win out in pressure. This one's out in percussion. This one's out in sound. But value overall is here with the NEX. So that's what I have to say.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We're trying to do some new products going out, just stuff that's new to the game, smaller businesses, especially with how the world is right now. So if you guys have other ones that you want to help us point out, take on the big guys, let us know what they are below, and we'll do that for you. We'll see you later. Bye.